Hey church family, it is February, so it has been a while since we have updated you in relation to COVID and how we're moving forward. And we wanted to take a few moments just to give you some information about things that are going on in the life of our church. The reason it's been a while is because not a lot has changed in terms of our approach and our policies. Yet we did want to remind you of some of those, especially in light of the fact that several people have had conversations with me lately about the fact that they are thinking about returning on campus. So I have with me Steve Renna, our administrator, who is much smarter and knows much more and can explain it much more clearly than I can in regards to all these things. Just give you some information. So I guess first, Steve, if someone is thinking about returning to join us on campus, obviously we don't want them to feel pressure to do that, but can we give them any kind of assurance that they will be safe on our campus?
Well, sure. As James said, there is no pressure from us. If you don't feel comfortable coming on campus, we respect that greatly. And we know that there's people who are considering coming back and they want to know what's going on campus and if I want to be cautious, what's the right place for me to get connected back in. And I would say that our suggestion for you would be to come to the 8 o'clock service. We have plenty of space in the 8 o'clock service for you to social distance, keep your 6 feet. Most of the people in the 8 o'clock service are wearing masks. That's certainly the safest option that you have. Also, our 11 o'clock service has plenty of room for you to social distance and keep your space from other people. And I would say that if you are cautious about coming back, the 9:30 service is packed. That's probably not the best choice for you. But the 8 o'clock and the 11 o'clock service are certainly your best bets.
Now, it's inevitable and still happens that people on our campus will test positive for the virus. And so just remind everyone who maybe hasn't been on campus or perhaps hasn't read our emails, even though you all read all of our emails and all of our communication, of how we handle contact tracing in case of a positive coronavirus case.
Yeah, well, look, I'd first like to say that I think we've been tremendously blessed, because we see in the news media that the numbers are high in our community, and we have not experienced that as a church, and that's a great blessing. We do have individuals who test positive periodically, and what happens is when we find out that somebody has tested positive for COVID, the first thing that I do is I look at their attendance information to find out, were they here, where were they in life group, were they in the service, and then I reach out to the individual who tested positive for an interview. In that interview, the first thing I'm looking at is they may have been on an attendance roster, but they may have only been on Zoom. And there's no contact tracing to be done then, but assuming they were here on campus, we interview them to try and determine who might be a close contact according to the CDC's definition, which is within 6 feet for 15 minutes over the course of a 24-hour period. And if we can be very confident that we understand who close contact is, we'll reach out directly to those individuals with communication that points them to the CDC guidelines for quarantine. Now, in some cases, it might be a child. In that case, yet we're still interviewing the child, but we're also interviewing the leaders in that group because they can see and know what's going on in the group. So with that information, we determine close contact. Now, if we have a situation where we can't determine close contact, that's when we send notification to the entire group, letting them know that there was a positive case. Now, even in the case where we can determine close contact, as a courtesy, we're sending out a communication to everybody who is in attendance, letting them know that someone did test positive for COVID.
Well, Steve, I just want to thank you again for all you've done, going above and beyond. In this past year, I know in your job description when you were hired, contact tracing was not a part of that. So thank you for the work you've done. I know that's been many hours and much clarification. So we're so thankful for you. And we're just so thankful for our church, really. And we do believe that people by and large have had good attitudes, have been very loving, very understanding. And so we appreciate that. As we get close to a year of doing church, if you will, during a COVID time, I just want to encourage you to not grow weary in that. We have just this week, I've talked to someone who thinks everyone should wear a mask when they're on campus, and someone who thinks we should not even suggest that people wear masks. So there are varying opinions on this issue, And so we're trying to do our best to balance the safety or manage the safety of people and continue to value the biblical community and gathering together for worship. So let's keep that love for each other at the forefront of all that we do. And if you have any questions about anything at any point, please reach out to us in the church office or staff. We're happy to answer those questions. And again, we just want to say over and over again that we respect your decision, and we love you, and we're here for you however we can be.